Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to use Unity for 3DS because there's no tutorials out there. In this video I'm just going to show you the basics of it and how to get set up. What you first want to do when you open a new project in Unity for 3DS, you're going to go to Build Settings and choose Nintendo 3DS as a platform. So you're normally going to have it as here, but you're going to go on Nintendo 3DS and switch platform. Now, once you've done that, you will have an empty scene with nothing, with just the main camera. Now, I'm going to show you how to actually set up the camera, because this is not right. So first up, we're going to not do the skybox, we're just going to do a solid color. We can color it any color, which is a good trick for UI. And as you can see, here we can pick the target display. Currently it's on the upper display, so it will also display on the bottom when it gets decoded on the 3DS. So what we will do is duplicate this, but make this into the lower LCD. And to actually recognize it, we're going to make it white. Now, as you can see, we've got white on the bottom and blue on the top, which is good. Now, to reduce lag, we're going on the lower camera and we're going to set culling mask to UI only and make this UI. So basically, how to use the touchscreen, I will explain that in another video. But first, I'm going to show you how to just use for UI. Alright, so this is an important step. Now we've got this big thing over here. If you're just going to use for AI, here, UI, then make it to screen space camera, pixel perfect, and lower camera. Constant pixel size, no, we're going with scalable screen size, and make sure that this is the right resolution of the screen you have. So for the lower screen, it's 320 on the X and 240 on the Y. On the upper screen, it would be 400 on the X and 240 on the Y. So now we've got this here. Now this going to be on layer UI, so it can only be seen by the low camera. Let's create a text. Now we can name this anything. So the 3DS has a problem with UI where some colors don't work, so I recommend choosing a direct color like just instant red or just white or just black. I'm going with white, and I'm just gonna make this anything, literally. I'm gonna make it the resolution of the canvas, and I make it best fit. So now we've got this, but when we play, you see that the text doesn't show up. That's because it's the same color as the camera. So what we're gonna do is add an outline component, and we can make this anything here. I recommend using 1.5 and negative 1.5. That makes it more visible. Yeah, now we can see it. Now I will show you how to display the user's name to a text. Let's create a new C# script. Now that we've got our script here, let's first up add the most important line for 3DS games. Now that we've got this, we're going to use start to display it. So I'm just gonna get the component, and I'm also going to use .qi. So now we already got the text. Now I've already got a script here that can show it, so I'm just gonna show you how this works. So here's the line that actually does it. unityaction.endvideos.config.getUsername. That actually gets the name from the active user. Then here, user is the string, it will paste it onto there. And isProfane, actually I don't know what that means, but without this it won't work. So let's copy these three and put them here. I will also put this in the description if you don't want to write it. So now t.text equals to user. Now we've got a simple text displayer, or rather name displayer. Now Ctrl S to save. Let's go back to Unity. Now we've got it. Now we're going to add the script. Now let's see if it works. Yep, it does. As you can see, it says John Smith, because obviously this is our computer and not a Phineas, and this is the default name for testing. So we can just do this username. Now if you always need help with something, like you can't get something right, you can go to help, Unity manual, NVDS, and scripting reference NVDS. Here you find ultra useful stuff. Alright, I'm going to show you how to use terrain and skybox, and also the banner. So immediately here we see all this, just press import. Now the 3ds banner package makes it so it actually displays the banner on the 3ds. But it has to be very specific. I will also explain to you how it works. So here we've got a new folder, 3ds banner. Let's go to audio. So as you can see, this is a .wave, and the audio always must be a .wave and not longer than 3 seconds. Now if we go to model, we have all these, but I would recommend to only do it for all the Europe. Now common, you do not need to do anything here. So if you go to Dutch, then we have here common 1. Also always name the images common 1. The resolution always must be 256 by 128, else it won't build. Now we've got the banner. Now we can import the skybox example, because the default skybox won't work. It will literally just fill the entire screen with moving pixels, which we obviously do not want. Now that it's imported, we have here our scene, and we already have a material for testing. Now if we import this into the scene, we will have a skybox. Now as you can see, this is very dark, so we can just ramp up that exposure. We can also rotate it, but I recommend keeping it at 0 with this default one, but I don't think anybody would use this. So now we have just as set as the skybox. Now we have this. Now I'm gonna show you how to make terrain, because the default terrain doesn't work. So import terrain example. now that we've got the example imported, let's make our 3D object and terrain. Also get it out of camera. So immediately go to settings, material, custom, and the terrain mat. Now we've got this here, but we can just move this where we like it to be. So now let's go here and add a texture. Grass screen, for example, add. Now we've got this. Add another texture, grass red, add. Now this can just work how you want it to work. You can raise the terrain and lower it and anything else, see? So now it's just basic the standard editor. Now when building, I'm going to show you how to use the build settings, or rather the play settings, because those are confusing too. Go to project settings, player. Let's just rename this to C, which I always use. Now we can set this to any. I'm just going to set it to, actually I'll come back to that. Go to publishing settings, and here we have a unique ID. Now on Google there's a homebrew title ID generator. Use that and then paste the blacked out one to these. But if you do it wrong, then you will have to clone the entire project. Now region, let's set this to Europe and Australia. Let's make the title our game's name. Testing place, also no spaces here. Then agree Euler, and long name L1, short name and publishers required. So let's just do testing place, publisher C, but short name will not pop up, only long name L2. So you just do this, testing. Now we should be able to do this, and yeah, basically it's done. So now I will actually show you something also very important, the other settings. So here, external save data, always use this when exiting, when using the SD card, and allow direct SCMC. Now if you're planning on making Mobi clips so you can play videos, just set this to fast or small. Both will work. Alright, I'm going to get an icon and I'll be back. So now that we've got a logo imported, make sure that override for Nintendo 3DS is on and set to 512. Now I would recommend setting the sprite to the UI and point no filter to make it less blurry. Now let's go back to the player settings, player, default icon and testing logo. Now it should work. Let's just save the scene, and also if you're experiencing lag, go to edit, project settings, quality and default, so make sure it's over Nintendo 3DS. Simple, I would recommend for good games. So now that you've done that, actually let's just do this. Yep. Now let's go to build settings and add the open scene, scenes tutorial, and build. Let's just save it as this. And let's open Citra for testing. Alright, in Citra, add a new folder. Make sure that this folder is the folder where your game is in. Alright, now that it has finished building, let's go to Citra and test and possibly debug. See, the icon works and the name works too. Nice. Now let's open the application. See, it works. Here's my username, the terrain and the skybox. Isn't that nice?